Hey guys, welcome back. So far we created our view controller. Our view controller has some variables that's tied to our main storyboard. We created our main storyboard. We added a button and some labels. It's pretty simple right now. We're going to jazz it up a bit later. And what we also created was a weather service class. But now we need to find a way to make some type of instruction. And what this instruction needs to do, it needs to get the weather data and send it back to our view controller. Now this weather data is going to it's going to show the humidity, it's going to show the temperature, the location by longitude and latitude. So basically we need to create a single item that represents all of this information. Now, how we're going to do that is by creating a struct. So let's do this. So we're going to right click, go to new file, and we're going to create our struct, and it's going to be called, we're just going to call it weather. So now let's create it. And let's move it to the top. Put it under our weather service. So now let's create our struct. So it's gonna have struct, and we can use the same method, same principles we did by naming it the same name as the class or by the file. Okay. So here is our struct. So now what we want to do is give it some variables. So one of the variables will be a city name. This is going to be a string. Another one will be temp. It's going to be a double. And let's add, what else do we need to add? Okay, yeah, let's add a description. And this is going to be a string as well. Okay, so now we have the variables. Now, since it's a let variable, that means this variable will not change. So since we have these variables that don't change, we now have to give them some value. So how we're going to give it some value is by creating a initiate function. So this is going to be an init function. It's called init, short for initiate. So this initiate function is going to have city name, a city name string, temp, double, and our description string. Okay. So in our init function, we're going to have to type it on our own. So we're going to put self city name is going to equal to city name. Self temperature going to equal to temp. And self description is going to equal to description. Okay. So now that we have our struct, how are we going to use the weather struct? Like how we're going to do this? We're going to go to the weather service Swift, and we're going to go here, and we're going to first let's look at our get weather. Right now what it's doing, or what it's going to do, is going to request the weather data from the internet, then it's going to wait on it. And then next it's going to probably, let's say, process it. So let's think this through. Now it's going to process the information. So now that it processes it, it's going to bring it back, and we're going to bring it back using our weather struct. So we're going to put the struct here. So let's put let weather equal to weather. And you see how it already brings us our initiate file. So we're going to auto complete this. And we're going to name it city. Temp, we're gonna, let's put 237.12. This is going to be in Kelvin. Later on I'm gonna show you how to convert this into Fahrenheit. And description, put a nice day, but let's put in quotation marks. Okay. So now that we have our weather function, let's have it called somewhere. We need to have this called in a function in order to work. So let's make a new weather. Let's send it. We need to find a way to send it back to the view controller. So we need to go here, add weather, and this. So now we have an error here because since we have this put into the method, we need to also place it here. So this one's going to have the weather. It's going to have the lowercase weather. Make sure it's the lowercase one, not the capital one. We don't need the weather class. We need the weather initiate file. So now that we have this, if we go here, I'm pretty sure there's an error here. Yes, there's an error here, and it's saying that the view control does not conform to the weather service delegate. And that's because when we go down here where we have the set weather, and before we do that, let's add a mark here. A mark makes it more organized for us. So let's add a mark. What we're going to do is add a mark. And let's put weather service delegate. When you add marks and you go here, it makes it easier to find your code. Like let's say if you have a long page of code, this will help you go exactly to where you need to, you're trying to go to make some code. So in here, let's delete this. And what it's asking for is weather. It's okay. So now let's print some values just to test it out to see if it works. Let's print some values. So let's make another print statement. It's too much space. Excuse me. And we want the print statement to show the city. The weather. Gonna have the city name. And we want it to show the temp. And we want it to show the description. This is going to be weather description. Okay. Now that we have that, the error shows, the error goes away. And let's make another print statement here. I want to put a print statement that says set weather. Just to see if it works. Okay. All right, so now let's build and run, see if it works. So we added the instruction in the struct file. We created an initiate function, and then the initiate function was ran through the weather service. So now let's see if it's working now. Okay, just looking for my password. There we go. Okay, let's select city. And now let's put, I don't know, New York. Press OK. And we have set weather, city, New York, temperature 237.12 degrees Kelvin, and description says a nice day. All right. Congratulations on this lecture, and we'll see you next time on our next lecture. We're going to talk about more stuff, adding some more inputs to those weather. Thank you.